Hello, if you've clicked on this video, it's because you're probably thinking about moving to Italy. And a few years ago, I was in the same position as you. I saw all these videos online of people who were living in Italy. They're eating all the good foods that you can think of. You know, Italy is known for its big cities with, you know, the art and the architecture. The food, of course, is very popular. The sea, a lot of people love to go on holidays here and experience the beaches and, like I said, the cities, the museums. There's a whole lot of stuff to do, including the Alps in the north, which I personally prefer. They don't really get mentioned much, but you have some niche areas where they will talk about the Alps or the what are the mountains in Trentino, the Dolomites. So you have different pockets of different tourism spots and different kind of really beautiful locations. And you see a lot of influencers and Instagrammers and YouTubers who are like, I moved to Italy and my whole life changed. And they live in the countryside. They maybe have a farm, they maybe have a garden. I don't really know what they are doing for a job because a lot of those places don't really have a lot of work, especially for foreigners. So if you are thinking of moving to Italy, watch this first. So about 2 years ago, I moved to Italy, and I, like you, thought it was going to be very like idealistic and romantic. And in fact, it's not. That could be because I live in Lombardy, which is very busy. The population density of Lombardy is similar to that of New Jersey, so it's full of people up here. Because a lot of people move from the south of Italy to the north of Italy, particularly in the region around Milan, because of work. So there are more jobs up here, more opportunities for people, more universities, a whole lot more stuff going on. So all that stuff attracts a lot of people. So I thought that I was going to be moving to like the suburbs. And being from Ohio, I thought the suburbs were going to be a little bit more calm, a little bit more relaxed. And they are. They are pretty calm, they are pretty relaxed up here where I live. But it's still very population dense, and there are just people everywhere all the time. There's traffic all the time, just noise all the time. It's just a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. It's something I wasn't expecting. Another similarity that Lombardy has with New Jersey is that it's very American in the way that people approach their jobs. So you see all the posts on Instagram and all the videos on YouTube about how Italians are more laid back, they're more relaxed. Maybe in some places. That is probably absolutely true in some places, but not up here. Not up here. Here in this part of Italy, because there are lots of jobs, people are much more competitive. They feel the need to kind of perform in their job, to be working all the time, available all the time, and are just busy. And it seems to be that up here in this region, work is like the #1 priority. So here, it's also something really new to me because, yes, despite the fact that I've been living over here on this side of the ocean for the past 12 years now, it never really occurred to me that the 9 to 5 schedule in the US is considered an 8-hour workday, but over here, it's 9 to 6 because they're like, your lunch doesn't count. Like, interesting, I didn't know it. So the whole workday is a bit longer. Yes, Italians like to go on holiday and go on vacation and things like that, but they tend to only do it in August. Any other time of the year, it's work, just like in the US. The third thing that I didn't really know about, and in fact, I can't say that's true because people did tell me, Italy has extremely high taxes. What's the percentage? I can't tell you off the top of my head, but it's pretty high. And I feel really upset having to pay a lot of taxes when I don't get good services. My roads are not nice and paved. My experience with public health care has not been all that great. The school systems are not fantastic. And so it's a place where, okay, you know, if you think about Northern Europe, they say, yes, you pay a lot of taxes up there as well. But also, they have this kind of stereotype in Northern Europe that, you know, the services are really good. If you are unemployed, you can get certain benefits. If you want to change your career and go back to school to study something else, you get some sort of supplementation or some sort of money from the government to be able to do that, to support yourself while you're not working and just studying. The school systems are different, the education systems are different, public transport, public services, things like that, all are supposed to be working really well up there. Again, it could be fake, let me know. But here in Italy, we pay high taxes and we don't get those good services, and that's really disappointing to me. The fourth thing, and it may be just a localized thing to the Lombardy region, because I usually go to Sardinia for a couple days, a couple weeks in the summertime, and I haven't really experienced this problem there, just here in the region of Lombardy, where we have a massive infestation of mosquitoes. And now, these mosquitoes are not like any other mosquitoes. They are the Asian tiger mosquito, and sometimes they're pretty big and they are very wicked. And none of the bug sprays that I have tried to use work. I know in Czech Republic, I never had this problem at all. I think I had a grand total of 3 mosquitoes ever in my house in the 10 years that I lived there. But last year, we didn't have mosquito screens on our house yet. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. So while yes, this particular week it's been about 37 degrees here in the surrounding areas of Milan, and it's hot and people are sweating and the air conditioners are going and creating even more heat outside, it's the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are what drive me nuts about this part of Italy. And to be honest, I think I can deal with the busyness of people, all right, the services are not so great, who really cares, but it's the mosquitoes that I am 100% convinced are not a naturally occurring thing, but that's a conversation for another time. So, if you are thinking of moving to Italy, check it out a little bit more. Oh, there's another thing. I totally forgot about this because it's something I don't really have to deal with because I'm also a European citizen, is that the paperwork process to be able to work here, to get a visa, to live here, and all that kind of process is extremely difficult and extremely slow. These are just what I have heard from different friends and colleagues that I've worked with who have to go through this experience with they call it the questura. They're kind of like the foreign police, I guess, or the immigration services who kind of manage, you know, who's allowed to be in Italy and grants the visas and different permissions and things like that. So that's a real process. So if you are not a citizen of the European Union or one of these other special countries like Switzerland or Norway or something who has a special agreement with Italy, then it could be tough. It could be tough to get a permit to come and live here. So check all that stuff out before you make this kind of decision. All right, so those are some things that I really wish I would have looked into before moving to Italy. We're here now. We're gonna make the best of it. So you kind of get this grass is always greener syndrome. I know when I lived in the Czech Republic, I complained a lot. I think complaining is just a natural human pastime. I lived in Ostrava and I complained all the time about how horrible it was. Then I moved to Prague and I longed to go back to Ostrava. Then, while in Prague, I complained about Prague and how awful it was there. Okay, so then I moved here with my boyfriend who's from here, his family's from here. And now I think Prague's the best place in the world. So, you know, the grass is always greener. And you always think maybe what you had was better than what you have now because you can compare, right? And so maybe then you take for granted some of the things that you didn't like or you didn't really recognize. So maybe we just have to bloom wherever we're planted. So here's to new explorations. Thank you everyone if you've made it this far in the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and until next time, bye.